Hey guys, what's going on? Hey, I'm back for another week. Um, Good to see you guys. I wanted to come at you guys because I wanted to talk a little bit today about something that I think a lot about it. I've always thought a lot about it, and that's my position on marriage and what I think about marriage and the institution of marriage. And do I think it's a good idea for you guys to do it? Granted, I've never been married, right? And it's probably a good thing, but I've been close, like really close, almost walking down the aisle kind of thing, right? Um, about three times. And, you know, marriage to me is a once wonderful, it's the idea of it is wonderful. It's really, the idea of being able to be with somebody and be married to somebody, come home to somebody, spend time with someone, you know what I mean? Essentially have your best friend, right? That you come home to. It's a it's a novel idea. It really is. You know what I mean? It's great. Um, but the problem behind it is that it's not practical. It doesn't make sense, right? If you really think about it, can you really spend the rest of your life with anyone? You know what I mean? It never made sense to me, right? And I knew I was close three times, like I said, and it was something that I thought I really wanted to do. My first one was 21. I didn't know what I didn't even know what I didn't know at that time, right? and I was close, man. I told my best friend, I said, "Man, I've done it all." And he started laughing, man. We laugh about that shit to this day. So, you know, 21, there's no way in hell I had any idea what I was doing, nor should I have been doing that, right? So that was one, right? Number two is when I was about 28, I was going to marry this woman. And I talked to you about her in previous videos, so if you want to go back and check that out. She's she's exactly what I thought I wanted, right, in someone before I knew really what I wanted. Even at the age of 28, I didn't know what the hell I want. I look back on those two and I knew I would have been divorced. I would have been divorced and probably my ass handed to me, you know what I mean, in court and all that shit. Probably would have had kids, so that would have been another fucking fiasco. You know what I mean? It's just, and it would have been a fiasco for kids. I would have been, struggling with the kids. And yeah, dude, you know what? I thank God that that didn't happen, and everything happens for a reason, right? I mean, it all happens for a reason. The the third time was recently, right? I was going to get married in 2017, and it didn't happen, right? She was an alcoholic, and I caught it, and luckily I got out when I did, right? I have no hard feelings about any of it. I really don't. I mean, even though, you know, it's gambling, man. It's like going to Vegas. You can be pissed off because you lost, $1,000 at the roulette table. No, man, that's your stupid ass for putting $1,000 on the roulette table. You know what I mean? Without thinking about it, without planning for it, without thinking about what you're gonna do or having the money to be able to do that sort of thing, right? You gotta think about stuff, right, before you do it, and that's what I'm here to teach you guys, right? Because I caught it before it actually happened, right? I never got married because it didn't feel right. It didn't feel like the right thing to do. So if it doesn't feel like the right thing to do, I'm not going to do it, you know? And in all three cases that, I can talk about, none of them felt right. First of all, I told you guys that I never felt right in a relationship. I never, ever felt right. The reason being is because I always felt like I had to give up myself. I always felt like I was giving up a portion of me to be somebody that I didn't want to be for that person, right? And, I told you guys about the blue and red pills, right? I always felt really blue pilled in those types of situations. I didn't like the way that felt, right? Because I told you guys in previous videos that I always went towards the red pill before I even knew what the red pill was, right? So when I was in those situations, I was just like, dude, something just doesn't feel right, And I didn't act like myself. I gave, and that's the thing that I've always noticed. I've noticed that about myself and about my friends is when I get into a relationship or when they get into a relationship, they become a completely different person when they're around that person. You know what I mean? Or in the, with that person, even though they're not there physically, they're a different person. You know what I mean? They're not the same person that you hung out with, And my position is you should never change who you are. You should never change. If you're in a relationship with somebody, you should be the same person that you were without that person than with that person. It should be the exact same person. It shouldn't be any different. But what I've noticed about myself, about my friends, is that when they get into a relationship, they become some person that I don't even fucking recognize. You know what I mean? I became somebody that I didn't even recognize. And I didn't like that. That's why I got the fuck out. I just couldn't do it, right? And I never felt good in a relationship. But I never knew how to bridge that gap. I really didn't, until now. Until the whole red pill stuff and you know what I mean, doing the research, becoming who I really am, and that's all I did really, is that I said, okay, I was going down this path. I was always going down a red pill path. I always felt red pilled. I'd never liked blue pill type shit. You know what I mean? I never felt right about it. So going down the red pill, but I never had a male figure in my life to tell me whether or not that was the right thing to do. If I had, a true male in my life, like my dad or my uncles or somebody like that, to tell me, hey, this is the way you got to be. This is it, right? Then I would have felt more confident about it and I would have been who I really was. But, no, I'm listening to all these other assholes that, they conformed to their women instead of being who they were and letting people conform to them, And I'm not trying to be misogynistic or anything like that. Please don't take it like that, I try to explain this to a lot of people and right away they get mad. Oh, that's why you're single. That's why you never been married and this. No, I'm single. I've never been married because I'm a fucking genius. That's why. You know what I mean? Because I saw the red flags. I saw all of that, and it just didn't feel right intuitively, right? So I was like, if it doesn't feel right intuitively, there's something wrong. Hello, you know what I mean? If you're driving your car and something doesn't feel right in the car, then something's wrong with the car. You know what I mean? So you got to pay attention to that. If you're in a situation, out in the world and it doesn't feel right, get the fuck out. Just get out. You know what I mean? Like if you're at a job and it's just not feeling right, it's not clicking, something's going on. Your boss is an asshole or something. Go find another job. Don't stay in that job because of the sunk cost fallacy. And I did a video on the sunk cost fallacy. That's basically the whole premise behind the sunk cost fallacy is you keep putting effort into something that you've already put effort into, so you feel that you have to stay and put more effort in because at some point it's going to get better. No, that's not the way it goes, right? It's like people that are married, there's been numerous of my friends, right, that want to stay in the marriage for the kids or because they, I've already put in 10 years, I need to keep going. No. Get out. Life is too short to be wasting your time trying to put in effort and trying to spin your wheels and, being on that hamster wheel every single day. And you know what I mean? I got to put in my effort into this person, right? It becomes the the God, I just want to play. It just becomes the law of diminishing returns, right? You keep putting in all this effort and you're not getting anything out of it. It's not value added anymore. So, think about that, guys. When you're in a situation, life is too short to be in a situation that you don't love. You should be in situations that you love all the time. Your job, your relationships, your friendships. If it's not a hell yes, then it's a no, you know? So back to marriage real quick. I watched this video. It's James Saxton, right? And he's a divorce lawyer in New York, and he talks about being married, right? He thinks the whole idea of being in love is fantastic. He goes, I love being in love, but I don't think marriage is a good idea. I mean, look at the divorce rate, right? 56%, about around 56%. If somebody handed you a parachute and said, there's a 56% chance that this parachute is not going to open, would you jump? I'm not jumping. I'll tell you right now. You know, there is absolutely no way. So you got to pay attention to that, right? You got to pay attention. And what I've told you guys before is that in your teens and 20s, really what you should be doing is dating as much as you can because you want to figure out what kind of person you want to be with. You have to see that person in every type of situation possible. That's exactly what happened with my ex, right? She was fantastic in every situation, pretty much, right? And I was like, okay, this is cool. And I would pay attention to all that shit, right? But then when the shit hit the fan and she came into a situation that was really, really tough for her, right? She buckled, man. She buckled and she started drinking, and that's kind of what happened. You know what I mean? And everybody has their breaking point, right? But that's why you go to therapy. Go see a therapist. Go deal with it. Tell the therapist what's going on, and they'll help you. I guarantee, dude. Take it from somebody who's been through 10 years of therapy, right? Because of my and it all came down to my fucking dad. You know what I mean? God rest his soul. But my dad tortured me. He really did. You know what I mean? And I realized that. So it was, I don't know. They said I had PTSD and all this shit. You know what I mean? You know what? It is what it is. But you have to fucking get over it. You know what I mean? And that's one thing about my life is that I can say, right? Is that when I was a kid, I used to fall, scrape my knee, get up, keep playing. You know what I mean? One time I was playing football and I put my hand right through a guy's helmet and split this in half, right? Well, I was in the the huddle with the guys, and I was like, oh my god, my hand hurts. I looked at it, I was like, holy shit, I'm over there bleeding. There was a big old hole. I could see everything inside there, man. It was crazy. You know what I did? I taped it up. I went back out and played, man. You know what I mean? I said, I'll deal with this after the game. You know? That's the way you got to challenge life, guys. Sorry about that. Sorry. That's the way you got to challenge life, right? You gotta turn lemons into lemonade. I mean, and that's the only way. We're all going to struggle through life. We're all going to have hard times, right? But it's how you deal with those hard times that make you the person that you are, right? And that's exactly what I did when I lost my house and I lost everything, with the woman that I was going to marry, because I had committed to her. You know what I mean? And we bought a house together. I put all my eggs in one basket. I never do that, right? But at the time, in all fairness, it felt right, right? But there were certain things that I I didn't want to see that happened, that I was just like, you know what? She's a good person in all these other areas. So, maybe I can overlook this kind of thing, right? And and then in the background there was this pressure that all my friends were putting on me. It's like, oh, you got to get married, you got to have kids. And now after the smoke clears, dude, they just wanted, misery loves company. They just wanted me to be fucking miserable like they were, you know, on that hamster wheel of, oh, I got to go to work. I got to take care of the kids. I got to go grocery shopping. I got to do this. I got to do that. And they do nothing fun in their life. You know what I mean? Their fun is whatever their family defines as fun. You know what I mean? So they're over there sitting watching cartoons, on TV because their kids are watching cartoons. They're over there, even though they don't want to do it. And I've seen so many families, right? So many men, women, whatever the case may be. I've dated a lot of women that, have kids and have been in marriages. Dude, they don't even see a goddamn movie in 20 years. You know what I mean? That's ridiculous. You should be having, okay, there's family time and then there's you time. You need that, you know? There's a book that every single guy, if you got to read this book. It's called it dude, this book is fucking fantastic, okay? And it's oh my god. Wow, I just went blank. The way of the way of the superior man. Holy cow, man, that was difficult. It's Monday. The way of the superior man. You got to read this book because it really is. It's the fundamentals of red pill, right? Remember how I talked about the fundamentals of red pill? I don't believe in what the red pill has become. I believe in the fundamentals of red pill, right? Be a man, right? Have your purpose in life and always go for that purpose. Do not conform to other people. Be who you want to be and own it, and do not conform to other people, to what other people want you to be. Be who you want to be, but be true to it, right? Be 100 about everything that you do, right? If you're a nerd that wants to play video games, fantastic. Own that shit, right? If you're a sporto that weightlifts and bodybuilds or whatever, does martial arts, own that shit. It doesn't matter what you are, who you are. Just own it, because somebody out there is going to love who you are, right? So that's to me, that's the fundamentals of red pill. And this book is the fundamentals of red pill, right? Because it talks about those things. It talks about the polarity of a man-woman relationship, and a lot of women get pissed off when I start talking about this shit, because they're like, oh, it's anti-feminism and, misogynistic. And no, 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 no. Just listen, You know what I mean? No, there's a dance between a man and a woman. You know, there's, who leads in a dance, right? The man leads. The man's always led, right? Now all of a sudden this feminist network comes in and they start, no, no, that's not the case. I can lead if I want. You know what I mean? I don't want to dance with the woman that leads. That's just not, no, no, that's just not. A woman will always test a man no matter what, right? To see if the man is true to himself, right? I I've been on a lot of dates, and I remember when I was a little blue pill, and I thought I had to conform. And I'll give you an example, right? If a woman said, I went out with this chick, her name, I don't even remember her name, but she's pretty hot, and I went out and I conformed to her, man. I remember I wasn't in a good place at that particular time, right? And I was always, she goes, well, do you want to go to the movie with me and my girlfriend? This and that we're going to go see this movie or whatever. And it was a chick flick, you know what I mean? I was like, yeah, I'll go, or whatever. And what I really should have done was, nah, you know what? Just call me when you get done, you know what I mean? I don't want to go see that shit. You know what I mean? Go with your girl, call me later, and if she called, great. If she didn't, that's fine too. You know what I mean? No big deal. I should have really not given a shit, right? The other example, the opposite, right, example is one time I was on a date and I was, I'm a carnivore. I love meat, man. I'll eat meat all day. You know what I mean? I don't because it's not good for you. But the thing is that I was on a date with this woman and she said, so you like meat, huh? And I said, oh yeah, I'm a carnivore. I'll eat meat. I love me a good steak, And she goes, wow, I don't know about that, And I was like, well, hey, if you don't like that, then you know what? We can stop the date now. I mean, it's cool. You know what I mean? Because she was making, she was being kind of bitchy about it. You know what I mean? I could tell. Like she was like, I don't know about that. She was trying to find something wrong. And I was like, well, hey, hey, I can take you home. You know what I mean? It's no big deal to me. Shit. There's a new bus every 15 minutes, And that's the way you have to be, right? I mean, I wasn't being an asshole about it. I wasn't being an asshole. I was just staying in my frame. I believed in what I believed in, and I'm not going to deter, any belief, I'm 100% Catholic. You know what I mean? I've had conversations with women. I dated 2 Mormons, and they were like, oh, one of them came into my house and looked at my crosses, and I swear to God, I thought they were going to pass out or something. You know what I mean? And I was just like, I said, well, hey, I was born Catholic. I'm going to die Catholic. So nothing's going to change that. So it is what it is. You want to stay, cool. If you don't, I'm fine with that too. You know what I mean? But see, dating and going out and being able to talk to women and have those conversations, and having that confidence in yourself, you can easily do that shit, right? You can easily call your own shots because number one, I know who I am. Number two, I don't need you. You know what I mean? I'm an only child. I can sit here and fucking stare at the wall for 9 hours. I don't care. You know what I mean? In fact, rather than go on a lot of dates, I would rather stare at the fucking wall. Let's put it that way. You know what I mean? Because there's very few that are value added. You know what I mean? So that's the thing, guys. You got to be true to who you are. You got to be 100, and you got to be in it to win it. You know what I mean? And you can't let a woman knock you off your pedestal, right? So when it comes to, being in a relationship or even getting married, you have to stay within your frame, and don't be an asshole about it. Always do it with love. And that's exactly what that book tells you to do, right? It tells you to do everything with love. Be playful about it. Always be, but be you. And be playful about it, but, be loving about it as well. That's pretty much what I'm trying to say, right? Be playful and loving, and, hey, I love you, but we're not doing that. Hey, I love you, but I'm a meat eater and I'm going to continue to eat meat. Sorry if you don't like it. You don't have to eat it, but that's who I am, and don't never apologize for who you are. Never. That's the thing. So, anyway, back to marriage, right? And I digress a little bit, right? But this gentleman, James Saxton, I mean, he talks about the whole thing about marriage, the institution of marriage. Really the whole thing of marriage was only to acquire family and it was to acquire land at the time, right? And so it's a pretty made up concept of getting married with somebody and spending the rest of your life. It's not to me, and I hate to say this kind of sucks, right? But it's not realistic. It really isn't, Being a man my whole life and being alpha as fuck, I love women. You know what I mean? And I love to date women, So now at my age, okay, maybe when I was younger, I could have probably stayed with one person. Now, I don't think so. You know what I mean? Because I look pretty young, right? And I can still get the young ones. So as long as I can do that, man, I'm good. You know what I mean? And I just have no reason to do it. There's no value in it to me. You know what I mean? And I'm not telling you guys, I'm not creating this video to say don't get married. Do what you want to do. You know what I mean? And you better do what you want to do, right? Because that's what I'm telling you to do, right? But be careful is all I'm saying. Remember that 56%, right? 56% of all marriages and of all marriages end in divorce right now, right? The second marriage, it's even higher. It's like 80% something, right? Those aren't this, you know what I mean? Like in Vegas, if they said you have the 56% chance of losing, yeah, you're probably going to gamble a little bit, but you're just going to Vegas and you're just betting. I'm not going to bet a lot of money. I'll just do it just to have fun, right? Well, marriage isn't like that, right? You can't just do it to have fun. If you do get married, have a prenup. Just make sure and he talks about this, right? In the video. I'll have it linked down below, but marriage to me it's not worth it. It really isn't. Because divorce is horrible, right? I never went through a divorce. I lived with my ex. I lost everything. Everything that I had ever worked for, I lost it. So if that's something you want to do, more power to you, right? Because the state that I live in, I was fucked. You know what I mean? It's a community property, so I would have had to give up my shit anyway, and I didn't have much anyway. You know what I mean? I probably could have gone to court and fought her for the things that we bought together, but you know what? In all reality, I did a cost-benefit analysis. It's not worth paying a lawyer and going through the emotional expense. So I got out clean. I talked to her about it. We split the stuff that I brought into the relationship. Not really 50-50, but you know what I mean, like 60-40, where she got the majority of it. But I was just like, I just want out. Because already I was stressed out. I had anxiety. I didn't want to be in the relationship. And there was already other factors, right? the other fact, and these are all things that, I'm just trying to give you an idea of what to think about, right? Her daughter hated me, right? I didn't like her either. You know what I mean? Because she thought that I contributed to her alcoholism. She was an alcoholic before I even met her. You know what I mean? Her parents thought I contributed to that shit. Look, I'd never even fucking drank before I met that woman. I started drinking with her a little bit, but she was the one that was always drinking. You know what I mean? But they didn't see that. They didn't know that. But those are factors, those are variables that you have to deal with. You're not just marrying that person. You're marrying the family. You're marrying everything else, right? And it's just going to be a snowball. That's all it is, right? So keep your life simple as you can. My life is simple right now. You know what I mean? I date. I have a couple people that I'm dating. I enjoy my life. I get to do whatever. Like this weekend, man. I played golf on Friday and Saturday, right? I came home, jumped in my pool, took a nap. It was a beautiful day. You know what I mean? Because it's hot as fuck outside, and I'm not going outside in the afternoon. I played in the morning, just jump in the pool, get some dinner, get some lunch, whatever, had a couple dates. It was a good thing, right? And they all got to go home, right? It was just me and my little boy, Einstein, here, and it was a beautiful thing, you know? But that's the way I like my life. I like my life simple. No issues, no problems, no drama, just simple, right? And I think men, I got to admit, right? And I was kind of in that camp for a while too. Men, we are professionals at complicating our life and wondering why. You know what I mean? We get married, have kids, we do the shit that we want to do. We may not be ready to get married and have kids. Now, next thing you know, we're over there watching, SpongeBob. And you're like, dude, I don't want to fucking do this. While your buddy, me, right, is over at playing golf. I went to, I don't know, one of the golf stores afterwards. I buy whatever the fuck I want. Come home, jump in the pool, have some lunch, take a nap, go on a date. You know what I mean? Like, what life do you want? You know what I mean? And those are the types of things that you have to think about. But everybody's so worried. Well, what if I'm going to be alone? What? Oh my God, I'm going to die alone. I'm going to die alone. So what? You're going to die. Who cares? Go out like a champ. You know what I mean? At least you didn't have all that fucking stress. Because stress, guess what it does to you? It ages you, man. You know what I mean? I'm 50 fucking years old. Do I look 50? No. Thank God, right? Because I've kept my life simple, right? I went into a degree where I make good money, right? I don't have to worry about money. I never got married, never had kids. I don't have to worry about, somebody telling me what the fuck I need to do or worry about all of that stuff, right? When I bought my home, I decorated exactly the way I wanted to, right? And then kids, I love kids. I love kids, man. I got 4 god kids, right? I love them, right? But they're difficult, man. They're difficult. I couldn't even imagine parenting now in today's atmosphere. Could you imagine, right? Social media and all that shit. I don't know what the fuck, dude. I went on a couple dating apps. I told you guys about that. It was a shit show. So I can't even imagine. I mean, I was bullied as a kid, right? I can't even imagine the degree of the kids get bullied nowadays, right? You know what I mean? I got bullied at school. I'd have to come home. I'd sleep on it. I'd go back to school. I'd get into a fight. Whatever. It was over. No big fucking deal. Now they get bullied at school. They come home. They get bullied on social media. And then, you got to have those conversations. Next thing you know, your daughter or son, is threatening to kill themselves because they're getting bullied. No. What? Are you serious? Go take care of it. You know what I mean? Dude, it'd be so difficult to be a parent right now. It just would. You know what I mean? Because there's so many more variables than when I was a kid. It was when I was a kid, somebody talked shit to you. There's Einstein. When I was a kid, somebody would talk shit to you. You throw hands. You take care of it right then and there. Fuck you. You're not talking to me that way. Let's go right now. Let's go. Let's get down. Next thing you know, you kick each other's ass. It's good afterwards, right? And then there was the 90s where you kick somebody's ass, they come after you with a gun. But that's a whole different story for another day, right? It's just another level that I had to deal with, when I was growing up. But the point that I'm trying to make, man, is that, don't complicate your life. If your life is simple and you like your life, then enjoy your life. I have a little cousin that I'm helping with, right? And he's worried about his career. He's worried about all this stuff. He's 20 years old. He's in Amsterdam right now. You know what I mean? He's 20 years old and he's worried about everything. And I'm like, dude, you know what? Enjoy Amsterdam. You know what I mean? Don't worry about shit. Worry about what you're going to go eat for breakfast tomorrow. You know what I mean? Don't worry about anything else. That's bullshit. So that's the point that I'm trying to make, guys. You know what I mean? Your whole life you're told that you got to get married. You see these movies and that they promote the idea of getting married and how wonderful it is and blah, blah, blah. Dude, it's not like that. You know what I mean? Unless you marry the right person, unless you marry your the whole soulmate thing. I don't know. I'm on the fence about that too. You know what I mean? It's just, it's a nice concept and you want it, right? But it's not realistic. Is there really somebody that feeds your soul? No, you got to feed your own soul. Einstein feeds my soul. He's the best dog in the world. All he does is chill and hang out, and we hang out together. You know what I mean? So simplify your life, guys. If you want to get married, have a prenup. If you want to get married, be who you are and let that person fall in love for you for who you are. If they don't, if they want to try to change you, that's a red flag, guys. You know what I mean? So don't fall into that. I'm gonna link James Saxton video down below. You guys got to watch that, man. It's really educational. I didn't talk a lot about what's in it because you just watch the video and it's self-explanatory. But I just wanted to give you my views on it. I love the idea of getting married. I just don't think it's a good idea, especially in this environment right now, because with social media and everything, there's too many choices out there. You know what I mean? And you really got to be with somebody for the rest of your life. You really got to be at the top of your game every single day for the rest of your life. And that's not realistic either, because we all have our downturns. We all have our issues, and nobody gives a fuck. They really don't, man. You know what I mean? When you have issues or you have problems, women don't care. They don't. They really don't. I hate to say that, and I'm not trying to be all Debbie Downer over here, right? But let's talk about my ex real quick. You know what I mean? She was there. She was there through some of my hard times, and I was there by her hard times. You know what I mean? But is she here now? No. You know, she chose drinking over me. Does she care? No. And I thought she was the one that was gonna care. You know what I mean? So think about that. It's rare. Okay? So, you know, I'm not trying to be Debbie Downer. If you want to get married, go ahead and do it, but have a prenup, have those conversations. If you can't have the prenup conversation, that's a red flag. Just maybe that's not the person you want to marry. You know what I mean? So really pay attention to that kind of shit, because getting married and having a good job and the place that you work are two of the most important decisions you're ever going to make. All right. Hope you enjoyed that. Do me a favor, guys. Hit subscribe. You know what I mean? It doesn't cost anything. You know, I really enjoy talking to you guys. I hope you guys get something out of this. I really, you know, the whole idea of this channel, if you're new to this channel, the whole idea of this channel is, you know, to teach men how to be men. And I want to be that person that I needed, right? To say it's okay to be who you are, because who you are is beautiful in this world. You know, everybody has something to offer. Be who you are, own it, and just walk through life, man, and enjoy it. Enjoy every day of life. You know, when I was young, I didn't enjoy life the way I wanted to. I wasted a lot of time not doing that. Now I enjoy every minute. Okay. So go out there, enjoy every minute, hit the subscribe button, you know, put some likes. You know, I would really appreciate it. That way it helps the algorithm and gets me out there to more people, and hopefully I can help more people than what I'm doing now. That's all I want to do, guys, is leave a mark on this world that is positive, because there's so much negativity. All right. Have a good day. We'll talk to you later. Peace out.